Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the next short story in the Unreal and the Real collection that was published by Ursula K. LeGuin. It's called The Direction of the Road. Now, this is a faster short story. It's under 10 pages long. It hits at about 7 pages long. It took me about 15 minutes for me to knock it out last night. It was pretty fast. For folks, it is. So let's do my review of this thing. So as a reminder, my reviews are spoiler-free. But let's go ahead and get started with this. So what you're going to find out in the first page or so is that you are at the road, some things are happening, and then about 3 or 4 pages in, you're going to find out who you actually are. So obviously no spoilers and so forth, and that's the central conceit then of the short story for you folks. And that central conceit, it starts out not being science fiction, fantasy, or horror. And that the central conceit isn't, I don't think, science fiction or fantasy. So then this short story then ends. I didn't buy the central conceit. I didn't really get into the short story, that short story. That was faster. Knocked it out last night in 15 minutes. So I didn't feel it as much as I have felt some of her previous stuff. But it was certainly well written. And Ursula K. Le Guin's a big name in fantasy and science fiction, right? So I'm probably just going to be giving it this more of like a 7. It's well written, it's fun. I enjoy what she's trying to do, but I just it didn't sell me, if you will. So I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 for you folks. So there you are. So let's talk a little bit more about who Ursula K. Le Guin is. And remember, this collection that I bought, The Unreal and the Real, we picked up to read a short story that won a Hugo Award called The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, which I loved and gave it an 8.5 to because I had never read it before. And I heard about it while watching a video about an episode from Strange New Worlds that streams in the Star Trek universe that they stole this from, and I had never heard about it. So I was like, let's buy it, and then because let's read it, check it out. And then I read it, checked it out, did my review of it. And then I was like, well, while I have this collection, we might as well just knock it out, right? Ursula K. Le Guin is a beloved science fiction and fantasy, and she's hugely influential in fantasy. She also has a couple of science fiction classics, one of which, The Left Hand of Darkness, I read about 5 or 6 years ago, that I've also reviewed for this channel. Another of which, The Lays of Heaven, was on my death list. And I knocked it out for this as a part of my reading for this channel. Loved it. It was one of my favorite novels I read that year, if you'll recall. So it was definitely a fun thing. Like them both. So now we're doing a deep dive into this person. Right. She published all her stuff decades ago. If you'll recall, the name of my channel, The Worst Thing About New Books, is a quote by a French philosopher named Jacques Choupert, who said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept you from reading the old ones. And somebody who wrote decades ago, it's definitely older stuff, right? And she's a classic. I also mentioned earlier how influential she was in fantasy. Let's take a deeper look into that. She published a 6-book set of books that starts with A Wizard of Earthsea. That were written for teenagers and kids, and it's the first of the wizard school training for a wizard who finds out that he's a powerful god, which you can see in the Harry Potter universe and later tropes that are based on it. And it created that. So if you're reading about that subgenre of fantasy for kids going through school, then you're reading the Ursula K. Le Guin's Earthsea series. It's a book series. So there you are. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. Have you read the short story? If so, what did you think? Did you agree or disagree with my 7 out of 10? If so, let's talk about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? There should be a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it in watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives after all. We're pulled in so many different directions, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.